The average American carries $104,755 in debt. Most will still carry it 5 years from now, but a small percentage will not. They will use those same 5 years to quietly, systematically rebuild everything. Not through luck, not through a single breakthrough, but through a process so methodical, it barely looks like progress until it is undeniable. And the blueprint for it has existed since 1998. In 1998, a quiet rule change slipped into the United States tax code, one that would outlast market cycles and financial fads. The Internal Revenue Service introduced the Roth IRA, a retirement account with a twist. Any gains could be withdrawn tax-free, but only after a strict 5-year waiting period. For the first time, the phrase 5-year rule appeared in official IRS documents, tying the idea of financial freedom to a measurable stretch of time. The rule was not designed to make headlines. It was a guardrail, a system that rewarded patience and penalized impulsiveness. Withdraw too soon, and the tax penalty erased your advantage. Wait 5 years, and the benefits multiplied, compounding quietly, almost invisibly at first, then gathering speed. Financial historians point to this moment as a turning point, not because the Roth IRA itself created overnight millionaires, but because it introduced a time-based discipline into the heart of personal finance. The 5-year benchmark was not plucked from the air or set by motivational speakers. It was codified by policy, debated by lawmakers, and explained in IRS Publication 590. Over time, major financial education platforms such as Investopedia, Fidelity, and TrustETC adopted the language, cementing the 5-year rule as a standard for both retirement planning and broader wealth-building strategies. What began as a tax withdrawal restriction evolved into a blueprint for rebuilding. The 5-year window became a signal. Progress in personal finance is not measured by sudden windfalls, but by consistent action, year after year. Systems, not hype, drive the real story of wealth. The legitimacy of the 5-year timeline rests not in theory, but in the structure of the rules themselves, a design quietly shaping the fortunes of those willing to play the long game. Across the country, the numbers tell a story that rarely makes headlines. For Americans between 35 and 44, the median net worth sits at about $135,000. For many, that figure represents a lifetime of work, but it is paired with a heavy weight. The average total consumer debt now stands at $104,755. Mortgages, car loans, credit cards. These balances are not just statistics, but daily realities for millions of households. The gap between what is owned and what is owed sets the baseline for anyone hoping to rebuild. Sam, like most people in this age group, fits squarely in the middle. A modest home, a reliable car, maybe a retirement account started years ago but never fully funded. Yet beneath the surface, the pressure is real. Unexpected bills, rising living costs, and the constant pull to keep up with peers can make progress feel impossible. The typical family savings cushion is thin, often just enough to cover a month or two of expenses. Even as the economy grows, the benefits are uneven. Some see their net worth jump, while others tread water, barely staying ahead of interest payments. Federal Reserve data shows that while the median net worth has climbed over the past decade, the wealth gap has widened. High earners and early investors have pulled further ahead, but for most, the journey is slower. The average American household now carries more debt than at any point in history, and many underestimate just how much can change in 5 years with steady action. The numbers are not destiny. They are a starting point. For Sam, and for anyone feeling stuck, the challenge is not just to survive, but to build a system that turns these statistics into a foundation for something stronger. Sam begins with a blank spreadsheet and a sense of urgency. The first order of business is a full financial audit. Every account, every debt, every recurring expense is laid bare. This is not about penny pinching or coupon clipping. It is a search for clarity, for the honest numbers that will shape the next 5 years. Most people underestimate the power of this step, but it is here that the invisible leaks are found. Forgotten subscriptions, underused services, interest charges that quietly erode progress month after month. Once the audit is complete, the focus shifts from cutting costs to raising income. For Sam, that means enrolling in a skill bootcamp, a decision backed by data showing that high-income digital skills can be acquired in as little as 6 to 12 months. Tuition is steep, sometimes reaching $10,000 or more, but the placement rates are real. Bootcamps in data science, cybersecurity, and software development routinely report job offers within weeks of graduation, with starting salaries that can double a previous wage. For those who cannot pay upfront, income share agreements and employer grants lower the barrier, making the leap possible for many in their 30s and their 40s. The first earnings from a new contract or a side project arrive, often before the ink is dry on the certificate. This is the first inflection point, the moment when new skills translate into new cash flow. Instead of letting lifestyle inflation creep in, Sam sets up a zero-based budget. Every dollar is given a job, and 15% of gross income is automatically routed to a tax-advantaged account. This single rule, automated savings of 15%, does more than build a nest egg. It creates a system that runs quietly in the background, compounding year after year. The early grind is not glamorous. There are doubts, setbacks, and moments when progress feels invisible. But the foundation is being poured, and momentum is quietly building. The shift from survival mode to controlled growth is underway. Wealth, it turns out, is not rebuilt in a burst. It is earned, one disciplined step at a time. By the fourth year, something fundamental changes. The spreadsheet that once felt like a burden now reads like a progress report. Sam's side business, once a late-night experiment, begins to run on its own. The first part-time hire takes over routine tasks. Automated systems handle invoicing, client follow-ups, even marketing. Each process that once demanded hours now runs quietly in the background, freeing up time and mental space. The numbers reflect it. Passive income covers nearly 70% of monthly expenses, a threshold that once seemed out of reach. This is the compounding effect in motion. Years of disciplined saving and investing begin to show up as real momentum. The portfolio that crawled upward in the early years now grows in leaps, thanks to the mathematics of compounding and the habit of routing 15% of every paycheck into tax-advantaged accounts. The dashboard no longer just shows balances. It displays progress toward freedom. Psychology plays its part. The closer Sam gets to the finish line, the more motivation surges. Behavioral economists call this the goal gradient effect. Effort accelerates as the target comes into view. Weekly planning sessions, once a chore, now feel like rituals of control. The identity shift is complete. Sam no longer thinks like a consumer, but as a builder, someone who sets the terms, automates the basics, and resists the pull of lifestyle inflation. Discipline becomes a form of freedom. The system is strong enough to withstand setbacks, and for the first time, Sam can look beyond survival to the possibility of real, lasting wealth. Promises of instant wealth have always traveled fast, but the numbers behind them reveal a different story. In 2023 alone, Americans reported over $6.2 billion lost to investment scams, online payment fraud, and pyramid schemes, according to the Federal Trade Commission. The Securities and Exchange Commission added another $2.3 billion in losses tied to fraudulent securities offerings. For many, a single wrong turn, chasing a viral crypto tip or a get-rich-quick seminar, can erase years of savings in weeks. Regulators warn that these schemes prey on urgency and emotion, offering shortcuts that rarely exist. The average victim loses more than $30,000, a blow that can set back a family's finances for years. While the allure of fast money is powerful, the real cost is measured in lost time, shattered trust, and missed opportunities for steady, lasting growth. 5 years in, the transformation is undeniable. Sam's passive income now covers over 70% of living expenses, a milestone that once felt out of reach. The systems that began as spreadsheets and late-night planning sessions now run almost on autopilot. New skills have translated into steady contracts and business revenue, while disciplined saving has quietly built a six-figure portfolio. The Department of Labor's $145 million investment in technology apprenticeships has made pathways like SAM's more accessible than ever, and leading education experts point to these programs as the fastest track to financial reinvention for adults in midlife. What sets this journey apart isn't luck or timing. It's the patient, methodical application of a system that anyone can follow. 5 years ago, Sam was just trying to stay afloat. Today, the future looks wide open, built on habits and choices that compound quietly, year after year. Today, steady progress still outpaces every shortcut. As more Americans quietly automate savings and upskill, the data keeps proving that wealth rebuilds for those who choose consistency over impulse. In a world chasing quick wins, discipline remains the rarest and most powerful form of financial strength. Share your thoughts below.